What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's daily market recap. In today's episode, I'm going to break down all of the trades from the morning. I'm currently sitting up over $65,000 on the day. We are in an incredibly hot market, but let me be the first to tell you that my results are not typical. I've been trading for a long time, but I think all the traders who traded through the 2022-2023 bear market, we all feel like we're kind of making up for lost time right now. The market's so hot, we got to strike while the iron's hot. So today, I'm going to walk you through the stocks I traded, what the catalyst was, and why I thought they had the potential to go higher, and I'm going to share with you my entries and my exits. But I have to say, all of that would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for one nagging little comment that one of you guys thought would be funny to post on the YouTube channel yesterday. I got to get something off my chest. So if we jump onto the screen share, you will notice in yesterday's recap, I was wearing my NASCAR jacket. This is a gift from my father-in-law. Is it the type of jacket I would have chosen? No. You know what? The jacket chose me. So when I saw this little comment here by -X1 saying, "Dear Diary, today I was out traded by someone wearing a chessboard. How do you think that made me feel?" And then I saw another little comment saying, "Never thought I'd see the day I'd be out traded by a pizzeria tablecloth." Guys, you're hitting way below the belt. This was a gift from my father-in-law. How dare you? So now let's just take a step back. All of this began back on Monday. Back on Monday, I came to the table wearing a $67,000 genuine tiger skin sweater. And what did I get in return? A little comment from Carmike1 saying, "Ross, never thought I'd see the day you'd be looking like the Tiger King." But then he went back and he edited the comment and said, "With all due respect." And you know what? When I read that, "with all due respect," I thought, that's right. Because he does respect me. He's just joking around. This is a joke. It's not a big deal. But you know what? That's funny because what did our little friend yesterday, -X1, say? He didn't say, "with all due respect." He just went and said, "I looked like a chessboard." So you know what I decided to do today? When I got dressed, I said, I'm going to wear my best outfit. I picked out this tracksuit. Is it a women's tracksuit? Yes, it is. Does it look absolutely great on these ladies? Yes, it does. Is it a full suit, including a pants set? Yes, it is. This is what real style looks like. You might not know that, -X1. Is this also the same store that Pete Davidson shops at? Yes, it is. So you know what? When we do this recap today, I want you to remember who's really got the style. It's me. All right. So with that said, with that off my chest, let's go ahead and start breaking down today's trades. -X1, you won the best comment of the day yesterday. Let's see who gets it today. All right, so let's start first by looking at the very first stock that I traded. All right, so I traded a lot today, and CJMB was the first stock I traded. So when I sat down this morning, 6:45, 7 a.m., bright and early, kind of same as always, I was obviously looking for something to trade. Unfortunately, today I was running a little bit behind schedule. So my dog June's been having a little bit of a hard time. So I've been having to help carry her up the stairs. She's getting older. So anyways, I missed this 7 a.m. squeeze right here. No, this 7 a.m. squeeze right here from 550 to 6 on LIPO. And this was really a drag because this is the type of setup that I've absolutely been loving. But this just goes to show, look, they're going to go with or without you. If you're not here, the setup's going to happen. And if you just miss it, you miss it. But it's also kind of a relief because, hey, you miss one, you'll just get another one. There's always another one around the corner. That's kind of what I say. Don't jump on a train that's leaving the station. Just wait for the next one. All right. So I think that's, a good kind of words of wisdom. So what I ended up doing on this one is I took my first trade not till much later in the morning. It was actually right in here that I took my first trade on LIPO. But I broke the ice today with my first trade of the day on CJMB. So CJMB, this was kind of crazy. This stock hits my scanner this morning when it first popped up right about here at $5. It goes up to $5. And I pulled it up and I said, well, it's a recent IPO from yesterday. So that's interesting. I might be able to work with that. What I know about recent IPOs is that recent IPOs are the type of stock that can make a big move. So let's map it out. So catalyst here for the first stock was recent IPO. So the thing with a recent IPO is that you really have no upside resistance, right? Now, there are some IPOs where you'll have insiders who are quick to start selling, but that's not usually the case, because usually as part of the underwriting for the IPO, you have to ensure investors, the insiders, are not just going to take this as an opportunity to dump all their stock on the open market. And so they usually have a holding period where they have to hold shares. So that's not always the case. And I didn't research to see whether it was the case with this, but my safe assumption is that it's typically the case. And so when I saw it popping up, I was like, all right, this is something I could probably work with. It's a lower price IPO and it's moving. The only problem was that there wasn't a lot of time to think, because this thing started moving fast. So this is what I did. It pops up on my scanner. And of course, these are the scanners I'm using every single day as I'm trading, right? So it hits my scanner, boom, boom, boom. And I'm seeing it as it pops up right here. I pull it up, it dips down, and then it rips up right here. It pulls back, and I got in my first trade at $7. So I bought it a little bit higher relative to when it first hit the scans at like 550, 6. But what I thought on this was, it's moving. It's moving quickly. It seems like the sort of most obvious stock right now at this moment. And so it breaks through 7. It goes all the way up to 8. It goes up to 9, micro pullback, I add, and it goes all the way up to a high of just under $11 a share. This was a really fast move. So adding at 7, and then adding for the break of 750, and then I added at 785 for the break of 8, and then I added at 850 for the squeeze up to 9. It goes all the way up to 9. I take my first profit at 870, and then I actually added back for the squeeze through 9, and it squeezes up. I take some profit off at 910. And so I lock up a little profit, and then I add back at 928, and then it goes up to 10. So the way I trade these, and this is very common for me, I'll take my initial position, and if I'm immediately up 50 cents a share, 75 cents a share, rather than take profit, I add to the position. So I'm like, okay, whoa, I already have such a huge cushion on this. I'm going to double my position, and let's see if this thing keeps going. And then usually after it extends a little bit higher, I take a little profit off the table. So I might take off half. If it doesn't reverse all the way back down, but it continues to hold, then after that dip, I'll add back. And so then I add back. And then if, again, I'm up 50 cents a share, I'll add again. I'm up $1 a share, take some profit off the table. It dips back down. All right, does it hold? Maybe I'm still holding a core position. It dips back down, and then I add back up. So as I add, my cost basis moves higher. And that's the biggest risk with doing that, is that if you don't pay yourself at a certain point and you're just adding, your cost basis is moving up, and it's going to need to go a lot higher to have a good profit. So for me, the way I like to trade these is I kind of stay on my toes, and I jump in and I take a little profit, and then I add back and I take a little profit. So I'm just actively trading through this range. And so I ended up making $18,000, $18,984 on this stock. It was unbelievable. Look, this thing went from $7, which was my first entry, all the way to $11 a share. That's 4 points. So this was phenomenal. But I also got some nice dip trades on it, because right down in this area, when it would bottom, like down here off of 8, it would bounce all the way back up to 9. 5,000 shares, dip trade, it's $5,000. It comes down again, adding back, another pop up to 950, another dip trade. So I did really well on this, buying dips, buying these sort of bottoming tail candles off of $half and whole dollars. So I got a bunch of dips off of 8 until it finally kind of broke down. And I got a couple dips down here off of sort of like right around $9. This is sort of this little area of, is it going to go higher, or is it kind of done? So I was impressed with this, but I was a little skeptical. I wasn't sure how well it would hold up. So that was around 7:30. It starts to pull back. It breaks below $8, and I was like, bummer. All right, so I'm going to put that one on my side chart, and LIPO, which had been on the side chart, came back into focus. So LIPO, this one, you can see I'm up $12,000 on, and this is a stock that was really cranking. This thing was squeezing. So what I did was I took my first trade right down here. Well, I didn't get it in down there. So I took my trade on this one. Let's see what my fill was. I think I added like 605. Let's see. So this was at just about 8 a.m. Okay, so here's the trade. All right, so I added at 605. Yep, so I added 10,000 shares at 605. I add another 15,000 shares as it pops up through this pivot of 614. So 25,000 shares, and then scaled up on this to a full 50,000 share position. That's the biggest position I've taken in a while. It was my biggest position of the day. And it goes up to 644 right here, and then it drops right back down, and I stopped out break even. I'm not kidding. I stopped out break even on 50,000 shares. I paid the commission. I got in. It squeezed. I thought I was going to break through 650, and I got out break even. And then guess what happens? A second later, it rips up to 660. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me right now. So I added back, but I just traded with smaller size as it squeezed up to 750. That right there could have been a $25,000, $50,000 winner pretty easily. I stepped up with the share size. I took bigger size on this because it had a lot of volume. I didn't get much slippage. It was pretty easy to get in and out. And I thought that the chart looked good. I thought it had potential to go higher. So what's the catalyst on this stock? Pharmaceutical companies. So that's kind of our typical biotech stock squeezing higher. Reverse split back in November, comes out with news, FDA approval, and, starting to move. So I felt like this made sense, and it was a really nice 5-minute setup. And it just is such a bummer the way, and I'll look at the 10-second chart, but the way it just popped, dropped right back down, and then ripped. It's just hard when that happens. So I'm adding right here, and then it comes all the way back down to 6. Now, because I was adding higher and higher and higher, when it came down right here, I had to get out. Because remember, when you add, your cost basis goes up. So I started at 605, but then my average was like 620. So I stopped back out at 620. I actually made like 2-3 cents a share, but it was not what I was looking for. It drops lower, and then it rips back up, and I was like, son of a gun. It pulls back, and I got in right there for the breakthrough 640. So I got back in it at 640. So all right, so now I'm back in at 6 for that breakthrough 640. And then we got another micro pullback right there at 670. That was nice. A small one right there at 7. It rips through 7, goes up to 720, goes all the way up to 750. So, it happens so fast. But anyways, that was very disappointing. So, it's just the luck of the draw, but it is what it is. Now, the reason also, by the way, that I took that kind of risk was because I was already up 18,000 on the day from CJMB. I was already so well above my daily goal that I was like, I can afford to do this. Now, when I took my starter position at 605, what was my stop? My max loss was $5.95, $6, 10 cents. So I wasn't really taking that much risk. Then when I'm adding at 625, 635, well, I'm just moving my stop basically up to break even. So essentially, I got a 50,000 share position and my stop was break even. Now, if that had squeezed when I thought it would, all the way up to 7, that could have been a $30,000, $40,000 winner pretty easily. I don't think I would have gotten a full dollar a share out of it because I probably would have taken profit sooner. But nonetheless, that, it's fine. And here's my attitude. If I step up to the plate enough times like that, I am going to have trades that connect. And guess what? That's exactly what ended up happening on QNTM. So QNTM this morning, this was a really awesome trade. So QNTM has this big move this morning, kind of pops up, pulls back, comes back up, pulls back. And then at the open, it dips down. And as it rips back up right here, I looked at this and I said, it's so close to the pre-market highs that if this breaks through 13, it's going to be continuation. It's also a biotech stock. And so for me, I just felt like this is the right move. So on this one, I added, let's do 10-second chart. So as it started to pop back up, I took my starter on it, and that was right there. So see how it squeezed up here? It pulled back, and I added right around 12:25. I took my starter right there, and it squeezes into a halt. And then all of a sudden, it halts up at 1280. It opens at 14. It dips down, and all of a sudden we get that squeeze all the way up to 15 and up to a high of 16. And in fact, it's continued to do pretty well. Right now, it's up here, well, about $15. I mean, this has just been so solid today. So I left some money on the table, but that was the really solid entry right down there at 1225. And then there were some small trades here. Now, I also traded it a little bit pre-market, but the pre-market trades didn't really work because what happened is it kept kind of like, popping up and dropping, popping up, dropping, popping up and dropping. Now, my worst trade of the day was on Ford Motor Company. I'm down 5 cents. I'm just kidding. It wasn't. So I was just testing out some hotkeys on that. So I am down 5 cents on Ford, but I can handle that. RNAZ was my worst trade of the day. RNAZ, because I had just had this fantastic trade on QNTM, I took a trade on this, and I took a couple trades on it. So first, we had breaking news on it pre-market right here, and I got in and made about $2,000 on that spike. I got in a little high, wasn't a great trade, but it's fine. Pulls back, and then pre-market got another trade in here for $4,000 of profit. And then right here, I added thinking it was going to rip, and I lost a full dollar a share. Lost a full dollar a share and went from up about 5,000 to down $540. Lost almost $6,000 in one candle. And it was very fast. It was a 6,000 share position, lost a full dollar a share. So this one, highest volume candles of the day, red. So unfortunately, that one just wasn't able to hold up. Now, we've got some other stocks that are up a little bit. LTRY up 91%. LIPO still sitting up 88%. Things are pulling back a little bit right now. It's a little bit past now, early afternoon. So it'll be interesting to see how things close today. But at this point, sort of regardless of how things close, I'm expecting tomorrow we'll continue to see some good momentum. Now, the big catalyst, or the big question is, will there be a catalyst? Will there be any strong news tomorrow? And Friday, going into the weekend, we may not. However, I did have my best day of the week, or best day of the month in in January. It was on a Friday. So, it was a biotech stock that had news, and boom, just like that, I got a really nice trade. So, I'm not sure what'll happen, but I'm going to be logged in, 7 a.m., live streaming. And those of you guys who haven't already checked out a 2-week trial, I'll put a link in the comments and in the description. You could do a 2-week trial. You could start it today or tomorrow, and you could be in on Friday. Or you may want to start on Sunday, and then you can have the full 2 weeks. Either way, you get 14 days. So either way, you still get 10 trading days. Doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want to do. But when you do the 2-week trial, not only do you get access to the scanners and the charts, all real-time market data, you'll also get access to my live broadcast. So you can listen to me while I'm trading. And you can see my P&L while I'm trading. It's always displayed right there in the top corner when I'm in a trade. And you'll also get a selection of classes from the Warrior Pro curriculum. So you could start to get a little bit of education and learn about the strategy that I trade every single day. So I want to thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying these recaps. If you are, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you bright and early live streaming 7 a.m. tomorrow for Warrior members. And I'll see you for the next upload real soon. All right, see you guys later. A reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so manage your risk and take it slow.